could just remind the jury as far as the microspec data, what type of data is that?
So the microspec, it analyzes samples that have color. So it provides information of a sample's dyes or pigments.
Brandy?
Thank you very much. Ms. Gilman, you can take that down. Thank you, Ms. Hanley. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay.
I don't know how we're gonna pull off going from 8 to 9 every day though. Once Daybell's trial starts, that's gonna be so hard. And I will need to add new mods before then because they all have stuff that they gotta do too.
Good afternoon, Ms.
They
Hanley.
need help.
Good afternoon.
Nice to see you again. We met about a year ago.
There's your husband, ladies.
First things first, you were just talking about some plastic pieces in 7-18.8,
Right.
correct?
It was 7-18.18.
0.18, I left a 1 out. 7-18.18. We're dealing with a lot of numbers. I'm going to see if we can cut through that here in a second.
Sure.
First of all, you indicated that you were doing a comparative analysis in different, sort of different categorical ways, using microscopy, using the microspec, using the FTIR. I think you also use the FTIR in that as well.
Yes.
And you indicated that your analysis concluded with those pieces could have come from the same source, from the source in 3-1, the taillight. But you're not conclusively saying they did, correct?
It could have come from, they could have a common origin, or it could have come from another source with the same characteristics.
And AJ knows too, that word could have says everything.
Right. So in other words, another way to say that, Ms. Hanley, is
There's reasonable
it
doubt.
may have come from the taillight, may not have.
It's a possibility.
Okay.
Someone told us this morning.
I also want to ask you real quick about the taillight manufacturer. You were shown an exhibit, I think it's exhibit 200, and I think we have that available. With the court's permission, we don't have to cut the lights. I think the lighting is just fine.
Hold the hell on. You guys, if someone's gonna come in at this point and say she's guilty, they're a troll. So just let it go. We might need to get some help with mods. I'm overworking my moderators and I feel really bad.
This is exhibit, or a photograph of exhibit 200 that you saw just a second ago. Quick question about that. In your inspection of that taillight, it's true, is it not, that is manufactured entirely of plastic or plasticine
gone.
pieces? There is no glass in that taillight, correct?
I have to check my notes. I don't think I noted any glass.
Okay. So in other words, you didn't note any glass inherent in the manufacture of that taillight. It's basically plastic.
Yeah, I think most of the parts were plastic. I'm not 100% sure if the entire thing was plastic. There may have been other material, but portions were plastic.
But you certainly didn't see any glass inherent in the manufacture process.
I'd have to double check my notes, but I don't think I did.
Okay.
Do you want her to check her notes?
Why don't you? Are your notes in front of you?
Yes.
With the court's permission.
Sure.
That is why I just said ignore them, because I'm not going to give them time. I'm not going to pause like I've been doing for every troll that comes in here. At this point, if they cannot understand what's happening, and I know people will say, Michelle, you always say you on both sides. That's not the case. That's not what they're doing here. At this point, you just got to call a troll.
Okay, so I did not make any notation that I noted portions that were glass.
Great.
They sure don't. Hello.
Final point before we get into the actual analysis. On any of the glass, I want to shift gears to just the glass material that you analyzed and that you looked at and you inspected. You saw no blood, no skin, no biological material, no tissue, human tissue or otherwise, on any of those pieces that you inspected, did you?
upon examination of those items,
It's a yes or no, ma'am.
that making observations of those types of material, that's not my area of expertise.
That could be an opinion thing. In my opinion, and that's all it is. No, she is not guilty. She is framed, but that's only it. It's just an opinion. And I believe they're proving that quite well.
I don't think I noted anything that was maybe consistent with that.
So in other words, even though you're not in the bio material expert section of the lab, you certainly would have noted if there was skin or biological material or obvious blood on glass pieces. You were looking at them in many cases through a material microscope, correct?
John, could I steal that one, please?
Yes, I would have made note of observations of anything that I would have noted on the surface.
Great, and you did not, because you didn't see anything that was suggestive of that, correct?
I think I just made note.
Do not give me that name. No, I highly object. 100% object.
I'm gonna have to check each item, but I think I did note that there was some dirt debris on some of the items.
My brother's name is Michael, though.
I did not note anything that would be maybe consistent with that.
Great, thank you. I want to talk about the comparisons that you did.
Yes, Marissa.
And you'll forgive me, I'm a visual learner. So I'd like to talk about it in 4 categories.
Keep in mind, she didn't find any DNA, any blood, any skin whatsoever on any of the things that were collected. And one of them was a long piece of hair that had a root connected to it still. They didn't test anything. This poor girl is going to get eaten alive.
Item 3-2. Category 2, item 3-3. Category 3, item 7-12. Category 4, item 7-14. 3, 2, 3, 3, 7, 12, 7, 14. Can we talk?
Does anybody else feel really bad for her, like she didn't know what she was walking into? Or are we thinking that she knows exactly where she was walking?
Talk about it in those particulars.
Sure.
Okay. 3-2.
It was darker hair.
Was the cup, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And I'm going to use the word cup rather than glass for obvious reasons. You could get confused by that. So when I say the cup, do you know what I'm talking about?
Item 3-2.
Great. 3-3 are the 5 items that were found on the bumper, claimed to have been found on the bumper by MSP or crime. Okay?
Yes.
5 items, A, B, C, D, and E, correct?
Correct.
Item 7-12 are 9 items, glass items, that were recovered at 34 Fairview by Trooper Buchanan in an evidence envelope, correct?
So sustained as to who they were recovered from.
Sure. Did you receive the items along with an evidence envelope?
I need to double check if it was an envelope, but I received it packaged.
Okay. And the packaging normally, under normal circumstances, the packaging comes with labels. It gives you reference about where things came from. For instance, when Mr. Lally asked you, were you aware or did you become aware that items were claimed to have been found on the bumper? You didn't actually find those items, but that was the description you were given, correct?
That was the description of the item in our limb system.
Okay. And going back to 7-12, that's our 3rd category.
Behave, ladies.
Was that described as 9 pieces of glass that were found at 34 Fairview by a sergeant by the name of Buchanan? Or do you recall that?
I am not sure who recovered them.
Well, what it said on the evidence envelope, that's what I'm asking.
I would have to check my photos to see if it says that.
We'll get to that in just a second, but fair enough. 7-12, 9 items, A, B, C, D, E.
If you think about it, when you're going up on a stand, and you're being a witness for a major case that has basically international attention, I can understand why she's being cautious. But it's not a good look on this one.
And if my memory serves, I, K, and L.
And I'd have to refer to my notes to,
Can you please?
yes.
Yeah, we might have to make a fan sticker. At least I have room to put more Lori Dapa ones back up for when we start Lori. We're going to need to have like a shift sign-up sheet so we know who's going to be here for
So the
which
9
case.
pieces of glass from 712 were labeled A, B, C, D, E, F, I, K, and L.
Great. And then finally, what was in 714, that's an easy one piece of glass.
That's correct.
Okay. Madam Mayor, approach.
Yes.
Please, AJ, pull out the picture so you can see that big ass hair in there. Please call that out. For the love of God, please call that out. Can you, Glam? You know what we do, right? We do block and then we do mute to remove their comment.
If I could.
Thank you, Catnip. Actually, Glam, I'm just going to add you
There should
now.
be 2 photographs of the exact same thing. Do you recognize what's depicted in that photograph?
I've never seen,
Thank you.
I did not take this photo.
Understood.
So I'm not, I haven't seen them, so I don't know.
So I'm asking you to look. I know you haven't seen that photo. Does it look like the cup?
It looks consistent
Oops,
with the
ignore
cup.
that, John.
Um,
John, I think you just got an invite. Ignore that. I was trying to put the laughing faces.
Just gonna set this one aside for a second. Take a look at the second photo. Do you recognize what's depicted? in
He's
that photo?
gonna, he's not gonna be merciful on her. Yes, I think I saw the red solo cups in that picture. 100%. Shaving your legs
I
and
did
trying
not
to
take
test
this
the water.
photo. It appears to be a photo of
Random
a
crap.
container that another analyst took a photo of item 7-12.
And item 7-12 once again included plastic pieces and 9 glass pieces, correct?
Correct.
Do you see the evidence label on the very top of that evidence envelope?
I'm not sure which label you're talking about.
The one
Oh,
under the red tape.
yes.
Does that appear?
I can't. Hold on. Let's just put it like this. Okay, I over exaggerated a little bit less than that. What do you mean? No! They need to stop messing with us today. Stop messing with us. You don't understand what you're doing. This is our obsession right now. The hell? The internet's out to get us. You didn't hear it? All right, let me go back. Yeah.
So I think that label Sorry.
Sure, can we bring these over to someone?
Sure.
She was having difficulty finding the information on the. So, yeah, he objected and they went to sidebar. You're very welcome. It tells me that it's filtering comments again. Some comments in live were filtered to protect experience. It's not my filtering, it's TikTok. So if you're not getting a response from me, try rewording what you type. Yep. And you know, I think with the other sticker, the Sister Wives one, I think I'm going to do it all with the teal. Teal works a lot better than an orange. No, this is John O'Keefe's mom right there. Can't keep my hands to myself. I can hear music in my head. By the way, when they do make this a movie, we've got the soundtrack all figured out, don't we, ladies and gents? Keep in mind, this was the same lady that was sitting there shaking her head yesterday. Even though she should have been shaking their head at the fact that they didn't do crap in this case to get justice for her son. You have to wonder, does she know and does she understand, like, is she in danger? Yeah, and the rolling of her eyes and shaking yesterday, yeah, 100%. What if she was told on the down low, you're just going to have to go with this? And she understood. Yeah, she does think Karen did it. She is now, that's all I know. Nobody, and keep in mind, guys, when they had to question each juror individually, nobody was in the room because she ordered everyone out of the courtroom. They're not related, Patricia. Colin is a McAlbert. You have to think, I mean, at this point, she hasn't said otherwise. You're fine. I don't blame her, Jody. I don't blame her one bit. I still have my Nacho Bel Grande sitting next to me. I couldn't eat it. I could only take a couple bites. They ruined my Nacho Bel Grande. Yeah, Colin is an Albert. So if you've been hearing people talking about Albert, that's the house he was left at, and there is a lot of speculation and rumors, and some of it might even be true, so we don't know. Do you really think they should be face-to-face with the family? I don't know if you guys understand how small this courtroom is. Why? What happened? It's filtering comments, guys, so I might not see them. If you guys are questioning how you're wording something, it probably got filtered, so just reword it. We don't know because we took an oath, being the virtual jury, not to research. And yes, that oath has bitten us in the ass every single day. Every single day. But there's been speculation and talk about him possibly being investigated by John on the side. I agree with you 100%. I know my brother wants us to do a live with him and I just talking sometime tomorrow night. So I think we should do maybe either before or after that, have one of
Jurors, sometimes we're at
talking.
sidebar in an effort to try and speed things up. So even though we take your time that way, this should make things move a little easier.
Not necessary, Bev.
So you can cut that down.
Thank you. Ms. Hanley, I was asking you previously.
Right?
We already looked at what's
think he
been marked
deleted
for
the game,
identification
though.
as triple G. I was asking you about what has now been marked as triple H. If you'll just look at that, what I'm most interested in is, do you see a name,
Me too,
a
Stephanie.
trooper's name in the middle of that evidence bag?
Yes, I do.
Is that Buchanan?
It looks like it says that, yeah.
Okay, and just so we're clear, that bag is associated with 7-12 of your analysis. The item 7-12, correct?
Yes, again, I didn't take this photo, but I have,
I
yeah,
realize that. It says 7-12
Yeah.
right on the photo. doesn't it?
yes, yeah.
That's all I need. Taking a look at what's been marked as triple I for identification. Do you see a name associated with that evidence bag?
Yes.
What name is that?
We might need to make Jackson's face bigger.
It's actually a little hard to read. It looks like it says, it could say Trooper Proctor.
Okay, and that is associated with 7-14, our fourth category, correct?
It is labeled as, excuse
do
me,
it tonight.
7-14.
Thank you. And finally, does that, which has been marked as, for identification at least, as triple J, does that appear to be the contents of that bag, which is a single piece of glass in 7-14?
This appears to be the photo that the analyst prior to me took of item 7-14.
And that would be the analyst, Valier.
Correct.
You see her initials there.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You
So
think this is an act, this meek act?
the four categories, just so we're clear and we can stop using so many numbers because they can get confusing. 3-2 is the cup, right?
Yes.
3-3 is the bumper glass, correct?
That is correct.
7-12 is the Buchnick glass, correct? You just looked at it,
Yes.
okay? 7-14 is the Proctor glass, the single piece, correct?
Correct.
So when I make reference to those items by those names, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yes.
Hesitant.
You never want someone to come on as an expert and they're answering their answers with questions.
Oh, I just, I'm just used to referring to them to the item numbers, but I will try to stay with you.
My brain will melt if we continue that way.
Can she do it both, Mr. Jackson?
Sure. Any way that you wish. I have another document that I would like to approach with, if I could, with the board's permission.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's filtering comments, guys. So if I'm not answering you, it's not me being rude. It's TikTok's auto filtering. I don't
Let
have
me take a
filtering
look
on.
at that. You got a copy of this? Have you ever seen that before, or a variation of it?
You think?
Yes.
Okay, saw it last year, correct, or something close to it last year?
Yeah, it looks consistent.
Okay,
Okay. If there are any others, Mr. Jackson, why don't we bring all that?
Another sidebar. My understanding is they're doing it to try to get the items in, the pictures of the items in. I don't know. Now, guys, we can only fast forward a little bit today because we're sorry. Guys, you see that? If you include emojis, it's less likely to filter. So try that. Thank you so much for telling us that. I do not know.
For ID.
What was I saying when I broke up? You're really struggling there, Ted, huh? Oh, yes, thank you. We can only fast forward a little bit because we got caught up today. We're completely caught up. I don't have filtering on here, Danielle. It's the auto TikTok one that's on. I have mine turned off. TikTok does it.
Ms. Hanley, if I could ask you very briefly.
I
wanna
do
go
too.
through
I
this
hear you.
Chalk with you for a moment. Do you recognize something on the left, looking at the first category? Do you see 3-2?
Yes,
How is that described?
it's described as a cup.
Okay, and you see that there's a photographic representation of the cup just above it, correct?
It looks consistent with,
Okay. Moving to the second category. What category is that?
it's item 3-3.
And 3-3, first of all, there's a photograph above it. Do you see
Me
that?
too.
Yes,
It appears to be of a bumper, correct?
yes,
You didn't take that picture.
I did not.
Okay, let's look down beneath it. You indicated that there were 5 items in 3-3, A, B, C, D, and E, correct?
Correct.
Do you see A, B, C, D, and E represented in that category on this chalk?
I do see A, B, C, D, E, categorized, yes.
Great. Under A, you previously testified that the bumper glass sub A in 3-3 did not match the cup, correct?
That's correct.
Did not match
Thank you for getting us to 40K likes, guys. I do appreciate that so much.
anything in 7-12?
Sorry, just give me one moment.
Thank you, Ted. A lot of people had jury duty.
That's correct.
And did not match anything in 7-14.
That's correct.
And you see those represented by sort of the international symbol for negative, correct? A circle with a line through it. Correct?
Yes,
Okay. Under subcategory B, glass B, or item 3-3B, did not match the cup, did not match 7-12, did not match 7-14.
that's
Is
correct.
that accurately represented on the chalk?
Yes,
Finally, with regard to E as an echo in that same item, 3-3, you see that there is a green indication that glass recovered by Proctor does match, or did match in your analysis, or was consistent with the item in 7-14, correct?
it was consistent microscopically and instrumentally.
Does that
With-
accurately reflect that finding on this chalk?
Yes,
Okay, now turning to category 3. There were 9 pieces of glass that you looked at, correct?
correct.
A through
Hold
F.
on. We have to go back a little bit. Was he just saying that Proctor's DNA was found on some of the evidence Proctor turned in?
You previously testified that the bumper glass sub A in 3-3 did not match the cup, correct?
That's correct.
Did not match anything in 7-12?
Sorry, just give me one moment.
Sure was, Danielle.
That's correct.
And did not match anything in 7-14.
That's correct.
And you see those represented by sort of the international symbol for negative, correct? A circle with a line through it. Correct?
Yes,
Okay. Under subcategory B, glass B, or item 3-3B, did not match the cup, did not match 7-12, did not match 7-14.
that's
Is
correct.
that accurately represented on the chalk?
Yes,
Finally, with regard to E as an echo in that same item, 3-3, you see that there is a green indication that glass recovered by Proctor does match, or did match in your analysis, or was consistent with the item in 7-14, correct?
it was consistent microscopically and instrumentally.
Does that
With-
accurately reflect that finding on this chalk?
I'm missing one fragment. Like,
Yes,
Okay, now turning to category 3. There were 9 pieces of glass that you looked at, correct?
correct.
A through F, I, K, and L. Is that right?
If I could just reference my report to make sure.
Of course.
He's like so close to a really big moment. Is he trying to say that Proctor's DNA?
Yes, those are the correct letters.
And A, B, C, D, F, and K all matched the cup, correct?
Again, I would just need to confirm with my report.
Take your time.
Yeah, they didn't. She testified to that there were pieces that didn't match. But what was she saying, that it was Proctor's evidence that turned in had his DNA on it? That's huge if that's what he's
So,
saying.
A, B, C, D, F, and K
All matched the cup.
had a physical match to 3-2, the cup.
Is that accurately represented on this chart? With grading.
Yes,
And E is in Echo, I is in India, and I think that's L is in Lima, did not match the cup, correct?
that's correct.
Okay, is that accurately represented on this chart?
Yes,
And finally,
still
the last
haven't
category,
finished
7-14, that is the single piece of glass that was recovered by Trooper Proctor. That did not match the cup, and it did not match anything in 7-12, correct?
Are you saying that the glass that was brought in by Proctor wasn't a match? Yeah, I think you are. Tell us without telling us. Tell us.
Feel free.
Thank you for the follow. The glass was not the same as the other glass. Are we surprised?
yes, that's correct.
Is that accurately represented on the chart?
Yes,
Your Honor, I would move for the admission with the amendment that the court indicated at sidebar.
How many of you are obsessed with behavior analysis? The way that she just was very telling.
Of triple K.
Okay, I'm going to allow.
Thank you, thank you.
205.
You're not surprised? Thank you, Kenya. Thank you. Proctor's glass does not match.
Would you like to see us before anything's published to the jurors?
Okay, come on over for a second.
Another sidebar.
Actually, have those have those been done?
It's been done. And I was going to explain the sidebar.
All right, then come on over.
See, Bev, now that you said you were doing sidebar, so we have less sidebars, it's biting you in the ass. You shouldn't have said it. Yeah, the glass that Proctor turned in doesn't match all the other glass that they have. Yeah, tomorrow's a half day. Squirrel. Wait, it's this, I can't even tell. My glasses are in the living room. No, they're on my nightstand because I didn't even have enough notice before going live this morning to bring them and pretend that I was going to use them. No court Friday. I'm aware what you guys are thinking. And you know what we should do? Maybe we should have Friday be our support group live where we all could just say what we want to say. You know? But you guys saw the reaction after she got done. She answered the question. She said, what does that tell you? I don't know. I don't have ESPN to see your brain. But that was an uncomfortable reaction. A nervous reaction, in my opinion. Yeah.
Request permission to publish.
Yeah.
We have to catch up we need more rewind points, so we're good. Yeah.
The last category, 7-14, that is the single piece of glass that was recovered by Trooper Proctor. That did not match the cup, and it did not match anything in 7-12, correct? And if you need to check your notes, feel free.
yes, that's correct.
Is that accurately represented on the chart?
Yes,
Your Honor, I would move for the admission with the amendment that the court indicated at sidebar of triple K.
Okay,
I'm going to allow it in.
Did you see it?
205?
It's an assumption. It's an assumption that he tried to put in false evidence. All we know is it's not a match.
You'd like to see us before anything's published to the jurors?
Okay, come on over for a second.
Erica,
Actually, have those
I don't-
have those been done?
It's been done, and I was gonna explain the sidebar.
I don't dispute that. But when you go up on the stand as an expert witness, you have to expect yourself to be under scrutiny. It just comes with the territory. It does. It comes with the territory. But she is just trying to do her job, or is it more? We don't know. Okay, love you. Have a good night. Stay safe. Now, I know you guys are used to practicing patience with parameters, but we started the live early this morning because they were questioning the jurors, so we don't have much to do. We've got like this much room, only a couple minutes. We're almost live.
Thank you.
I could fast forward at 30 seconds and we'd be live.
Request permission to publish.
Yes.
We don't
Ms.
know.
Hanley, you
because
see
they didn't say anything.
the chalk that's been, or actually that's been marked as exhibit 205 in evidence on the screen.
Yes,
Is that consistent with what you and I were just talking about at the witness stand?
yes.
If you'll direct your attention to the screen
Wait, what if the reason she's acting uncomfortable is because she wants us to see that she is uncomfortable?
on the right, just because it's a little easier and I think the laser pointer shows up a little better. Do you see the 4 categories represented in these
Yes.
in this exhibit?
Yes,
Okay, so 3-2, I'm going to go over very quickly one more time, just visually. 3-2 on the left is the cup, correct?
yes,
3-3 represents the 5 pieces of glass of what we call the bumper glass, A, B, C, D, and E, correct?
yes,
7-12 is the 9 pieces of glass recovered by Trooper Buchanan at 34 Fairview, correct?
yes,
And finally, 7-14 is the single piece of glass recovered by Trooper Proctor, correct?
yes,
Taking these one by one, just so everybody see. Taking these one by one, looking at starting with the bumper glass categories here. Piece A did not match the cup, anything in 7-12 or anything in 7-14, correct?
that's correct.
Piece B did not match the cup, did not match anything in 7-12, did not match anything in 7-14, correct?
That's correct.
And moving over to category 3, there were some matches in these 9 items, 6 of them, A, B, C, D, F, and K, correct?
Yes,
But what those matched, Ms. Hanley, were the cup, nothing on the bumper, correct?
correct.
And what didn't match the cup were E, I, and L. Is that right?
That's correct.
Moving back to category 2, however, there was one thing, item E, that did match something in this series of categories. Isn't that right?
Not a physical match, but instrumentally there was consistency.
All right. And this was an item, the only piece of bumper glass, the only piece of bumper glass to match anything else in your analysis. Matched what? What was consistent with what?
Item 3-3, piece E was consistent in physical and instrumental properties with the sample that I took from item 7-14.
Home. They go home.
Which is the single piece of glass recovered by Michael Proctor, correct?
Yes,
But not a single piece of glass, nothing that you analyzed coming from that bumper matched the cup. Did it? Nothing.
physical match comparison, there was no physical match comparison to the cup.
think that speaks for itself right there.
Are we done with this, Mr. Jackson?
We can take this down, Your Honor.
Yeah, this is a mic drop moment. Everything collected by Proctor, no match. Everything collected in the solo cup, they're matching to each other. So it's the evidence from before Proctor. That's where I'm going to, Brandy. I'm thinking that. It's just an opinion.
Your Honor, that's all I
folks.
have. Thank you.
Mr. Riley?
What he said may not have been much, but it said it all, in my opinion. Without embellishment, that's right. And as far as he's working on wrinkles,
Now, Ms. Hanley,
I
as
think
far
they
as
do. We'll find out. I'm going to take it off.
you asked some questions on cross-examination about biological pieces or tissue or things being on the glass.
Right, Courtney.
And you referenced that that was done in another unit, correct?
Yes,
Randy.
if that type of examination was needed, that would be done in a different unit.
I'm going to allow that, but next question.
Which unit would that be conducted in?
Objection.
I'll take it off before we end the live. Don't
objection's
worry.
sustained. You need more, Mr. Riley, before you move on.
Now, as far as,
I'll give you a quick rundown. When we started court today, Bev said she had to talk to each juror individually at sidebar with no one in the courtroom. They had to leave. We don't know what happened. It's pure speculation. And then they started the day as if nothing ever happened. So far, we know that Isaac Wolf, the neurosurgeon, is making a lot of assumptions. And he believes that the back of the head injury caused the raccoon eyes. But we heard from the medical examiner that it does not. So I digress. All the pieces of glass that they collected from Proctor do not match anything from the sample cups that they had. You know, those red solo cups. That's where we're at. He's still at the table. He doesn't ask all the questions. Sorry, I was trying to be quick.
the chart that you were just presenting.
You're welcome.
As far as the 4 photographs that were depicted in there, have you ever seen any of those 4 photographs before?
No.
Do you know specifically who or where any of the items 3-2, 3-3, 7-12, or 7-4 were physically recovered from?
I just have the description that's put in the LIMS system when it's submitted to the lab.
And do you know that 3-2,
No, they're in a courtroom.
the drinking glass, was recovered by the Canton Police Department on January 29th, 2022?
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you know that item 3-3, the bumper glass, was recovered by Ms. Maureen Hartnett from your lab on February 1st, 2022?
Sustained.
I'm sorry, but when someone objects, is he not supposed to stop asking questions? Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Nope. Nope. I'm going to pretend I didn't see that.
Do you know that each of the 4 items were recovered by different people on different dates at different locations?
Yes.
We're a few minutes behind, guys. Just a few, like literally a minute. They can't end like this. Are they not going to be in there tomorrow now? I know we do.
Ms. Hanley, from your conclusions that you testified about before, you found that the item 3-2, the drinking glass,
Thank you,
was consistent with 6 different pieces from item 7-12 that were found in the roadway outside of 34 Fairview Road, correct?
That's correct.
And you also found that piece E from item 3-3, the bumper glass, was consistent with the single piece from item 7-14 that was found in the roadway outside of 34 Fairview Road. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And you also found that items from 7-18.18, the debris from Mr. O'Keefe's clothing, were consistent with the item 3-1, the taillight housing, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sustained as to form.
We don't know
Now, as far as
specifically
the
just for the
chart
holiday, I
that
think.
you were presented with on cross-examination, was there anything in there about item 7-18.18 or item 3-1, either the taillight housing or the debris from Mr. O'Keefe's clothing?
No, there was not.
Nothing further.
Just one.
Anything?
Very briefly. So in sum,
AJ's pissed.
not a single piece of glass on that bumper could be connected to that cup, correct?
There was no physical match to the pieces that I compared for physical match from the bumper. There was no physical match to the glass cup 3-2.
Thank you. So another way of saying that is not a single piece of glass that you analyzed on that bumper matched. Correct?
Sustained.
But the one piece of glass that did match something came from the same source, it was consistent with coming from the same source as the single piece of glass recovered on the possession of or bagged by Trooper Michael Proctor, correct?
It was consistent with item 7-14.
That's all I have.
All right, Ms. Hanley, you are all set. I'm going to see counsel for a minute. Feel free to stand up and
He
stretch.
said, "You're gonna try that on me? I'm gonna make sure I get my point across too." Way to go, AJ. I thought it was too. I guess we'll hear if Bev's gonna say anything about it. No, Courtney. The only things that matched anything were the stuff collected in the red Solo cup. Yeah. Does anybody feel like they're taking a lot of time off? I know it's a holiday and all, but
All
come
right,
on.
so jurors, I know you don't like it when we're in sidebar. We don't like it when we're in sidebar, but I can tell you that after speaking to the lawyers now, we're ahead of schedule. And they've
Bullshit.
worked very hard to get us to this point where we're ahead of schedule so that tomorrow, instead of being a half a day, you have tomorrow off. So you have tomorrow and Friday, a good long weekend. It's very, very important. Do not discuss this case with anyone. Don't say a word about this case. Don't let anybody say anything to you about this case. Don't do any independent research or investigation into this case. If you happen to see, hear, or read anything about this case, please disregard it and let us know. I believe next week, except for Thursday, are full days every day. Watch your social media
Monday.
news this weekend as well.
That
Have a
does
great
Memorial
long
Day.
weekend. We'll see you here Tuesday morning.
Tuesday.
All right.
Okay, everybody that's ready to activate the support group, raise your hand.